Today it's turning out to be another beautiful day. I had a buddy swing by yesterday. He was nice enough to give me a hand. I only needed help basically holding a tape measure, but he was gracious enough to help me out, put a couple of these 2x12s up. I got these two up here after notching this pole and topping it and everything else, and then took the center pole, topped it, notched it, and he held the tape measure, we held the tape measure on it while I adjusted it to equal 16 feet inside to inside, because that's what the back two are. So after that, I put up this nailer board for temporary use to keep it in. So after that was done, measured out from the center of this wall here, pole, to the back, and made it equal on this side from the center pole to the back, and put up one of the header boards. So now that's done, there's one header board up there. I'm gonna check for square on the next one and go ahead and get it up. So I have a little problem to sort out on these two beams here. The inside one is completely straight. This one, the outside one, has a little bit of a crown in it. So what I'm going to do is take a little piece of scrap wood and a screw, put it on the smaller one, so that way when I run a screw through it, it'll pull the one up and push the other down. That way I can go across and run some nails in it, and then later run my lag bolts. So I got another sideways brace over in that corner right there, just to keep the walls from flexing this way. So the thing that's really going to give this thing the rigidity is the outside sheet metal. That's what's going to really shore everything up. And then what's going to go even farther down the line is when I go to do the inside of the walls. I'm just going to run like 2x4 or 2x3 walls, studded, just plain normal studded walls, and I'll run the main frames of it and just screw them to it, and then it'll get some sort of wall covering after I insulate and run my wiring and all that jazz. I'll probably do the wiring, obviously run the wiring first. So, but other than that, slowly but surely. And don't call me Shirley. Now I get to cut the last of the tall poles. Look out below! Alright. Get my pencil and my straight edge. I'm putting up floor joists. Once they're all up, I'll run some boards on it and sideways and everything, just to keep the main part of the building from tweaking. Now, I haven't actually filmed myself doing any of this yet, because it's a complete process. I mean, I've actually done it. I got like 6 or 7 floor joist boards already up, and I've done it. No 3 of them have been the same. What I'm nailing up these hangers with, normally they have specific nails for them, which is this 1.5" 10D nail. It's galvanized for not sure reason why, but fits in this bracket quite nicely. But since I'm going into a 3-inch beam, I've opted to do a 3-inch nail. just going into the beam. The others that are supposed to go in angled right here, I'm still going to use the 1.5 inches, which means chances are a box of these nails will be going back because I bought 2 of them for some reason, of these 1.5 inches. Not remembering I was going into the beams. So, and I bought a big gross of these. These joist hangers are for 2x10s and 2x12s. And I got 2x10s going on the roof over there. So they'll be, after I get these floor joists up, they'll be the next things to go. Alright, now as you can see, by this 2x12 that's sitting here, I'm in my 4th variation of getting these floor trusses in. I had to say I've already done one, but I have to say this is by far the easiest way. I mean, it's a little more time consuming, but it requires the least amount of actual physical effort on my part to where I'm not exhausted after putting one up. And by the time I get the second one up, I'd just be completely done. I'd need a real good break. But I got it hooked to the crane. I'm going to go ahead and crank it up.
Alright, go ahead and let it down.
Got about half the joists up with my help the other day. He is, I guess, a no-show from now on. He blew up at the car that he was borrowing, and so he won't be able to, I guess, come back and help. So I went ahead and I've already hung the brackets for this half, with the exception of the last one, the last set of brackets, because there was actually a nice little gap, I guess, down there. The telephone poles are thinner at the top. So when I went to do these, when I wanted to measure these out, I'm actually like a few inches shy of being at 32 feet. Oh, excuse me. So where it equals out, I pulled my tape from the back side forward to do 16 on center for every one. So the next 16 on center equals out to being at the face, the inside face of the telephone pole. See all the brackets? 16 on center. The next 16 on center equals out to be, on this side, I'm like a ½ inch off. On the other side, it's right on it. So I can't get a bracket into either one of these, so I'm just going to nail it straight to the face of the telephone pole. And the last process that I figured out logistically with the 2 ropes and lifting the beam from the center is not only comparable to speed, but it also it's just a lot less taxing. Like, I'm not so exhausted doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the next one down and start cutting them off at 16 foot and putting them in. It was nice having my help the last go around because I didn't have to keep going up and down the ladder as much. And after we got the whole half of them done, I mean, obviously I was paying the kid, so I made him do nail all the brackets in after the fact. So I had originally planned for right where the pole is to run a board, like another 2x12, cut it down to run from this stud to that stud, and then put a hanger on it. That way I could nail it straight to the pole, also from outside of both of the floor joists. But by the time I cut down 2 pieces, one for each side, that leaves me with a 2x12 that it ends up being like 4 foot short. 12 foot 2x12 laying around that I won't really have anything to do with. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, well, already did, hung a bracket up there for now. Not for now, but permanent. It's nailed in tight on the one side, but since the pole rolls, has a roll to it, it's most of the way, the nail's most of the way in to hold the bracket out some. And then once I get the joist up there, which I've already cut, so I'll finish nailing it in, nail it to the board, and then flatten the tin bracket around. It seems like the farther along I get at this, the more proficient I get. So what I've done to help with my slings here, I've actually had these carabiners in the garage that are like for carrying grocery bags and stuff in. But I bought them for my wife because she feels it necessary to carry every bag of grocery in at the same time. So, but they ended up in the garage, and that's where they've been ever since. I wouldn't suggest using them for any kind of actual good weight above this, but it seems to work. If I bend them, I bend them. It just speeds up the process of hooking up and unhooking. And so another way I found to speed up the process, and now I'm ready to go for the next one. It's still hot out here, but at least I'm not using as much effort, taking up as much energy. So the way I did it is I actually have one of these. So a 3/8 drive goes into the drill. First I tried to use it on the same drive I was using for the ratchet, but that's a 1-to-1 drive, and by the time I got the DeWalt handled it, but by the time I got up there, the drill was smoking. Then I remembered that it has a reduction gear on it, so I put it on that, and it still brings it up, as you can see, pretty quick, pretty effortlessly. So that way I'm not sitting there cranking on a ratchet or wearing my palm out, putting a blister on that palm and a ratchet to go around. So I'm gonna work on getting the rest of these up.